in a submarine, right? We attacked a submarine, and that was a drug-carrying submarine built specifically for the transportation of massive amounts of drugs. Yeah.
On Putin, is it your belief, as Mr. Zelensky said yesterday, that the threat of tomahawks and costs, as Secretary Hicks put it, is that bringing him to the table, the fact that it's kind of a carrot and a stick?
I don't know what's bringing him to. Just so you understand, this was not an innocent group of people. I don't know too many people that have submarines. And that was an attack on a drug-carrying, loaded-up submarine.
Radar showed a ghost. Just a faint smear 40 nautical miles south of Pensacola, moving too slow for any ship, too quiet for any engine. Within hours, that blur turned into a 35-foot narco submarine, carbon-wrapped, radar-absorbing, and nearly invisible to sonar.
On Venezuela, there are survivors from your latest boat strike. What happens to those survivors?
Well, I'll ask Marco to discuss that possibly.
Yeah, it's well known there's an ongoing narco-terrorist operation the United States has been conducting. Let's be clear. And but as far as the details of any recent operations, when we are prepared to announce those, we will, as the president has consistently done. So you may get something on that later today.
Let me ask you, that was.
As far as details of any recent strikes, we're not prepared here to announce all those details, but you'll get that information here very shortly.
And how are there survivors when these are meant to be lethal attacks?
Yeah, again, I mean, we're undertaking these operations against narco-terrorists. That's what these are. These are terrorists.
Inside, 3 tons of narcotics worth over $400 million. But what stunned the Navy wasn't the drugs. It was how professional the sub was, designed, welded, and engineered like a weapon system. This video breaks down how US sensors unraveled a submarine built to disappear. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
I think he wants to make a deal, that's all. I can't tell you what's bringing him. Sure, that's the threat of that is good, but the threat of that is always there. Tomahawks are very dangerous weapons. They're incredible weapons. Quite far away, actually, but they're an amazing weapon. They're a very powerful weapon, but they're a very dangerous weapon, and it could mean big, escalation. It could mean a lot of bad things can happen. If you like warfare, it's one of the most accurate. We hit 30 Tomahawks in Iran after the B-2s did their damage. We sort of gave it a little capper with 30 Tomahawks from a submarine.
The radar returned a smear, too faint, too slow, too cold. Yet the Poseidon's thermal sensor caught something strange, a repeating orange pulse flickering beneath the Gulf. South of Pensacola, that pulse didn't fit any shipping lane or fishing trawler signature. The radar operator called it an anomaly, but the pattern was too consistent to ignore. Within minutes, analysts began comparing feeds, cross-checking signal strength and drift. Something was moving under the surface, deliberate and concealed. The early radar data made no sense because the target was engineered to fool it. Layers of radar-absorbing coating reduced its reflectivity almost to background noise. Carbon fiber cladding dispersed radar waves by converting energy into mild heat, while the ocean itself, thick with humidity and salt, blurred the readings even further. Every element of that design worked against conventional detection. On radar, it was less a vessel and more a faint shadow sliding through static. When radar reflections failed, they shifted methods. Crews overlapped sensor grids, linking the Poseidon's maritime radar with coastal RF towers that scanned low-frequency returns. These overlapping zones amplified tiny anomalies that would have been lost alone. But even then, the contact slipped in and out of range, vanishing between sweeps like it was breathing with the waves. To anyone watching, it recalled stealth aircraft technology, the same surface scattering principle, but the sea complicated everything. Its conductivity shifted hour by hour with temperature and depth, distorting how signals bounced. Tracking a target here required both science and intuition. Then, fusion. Analysts merged the Poseidon's radar anomalies with a Reaper's infrared frames, creating a synthetic overlay, a ghost silhouette gliding at about 6 knots. That hybrid image confirmed an artificial hull, likely electric, likely carrying something valuable. The cross-correlation between radar returns and exhaust bleed pierced through the stealth coating. They finally had a fix, but only digitally. Physical intercept would be the true test, how to seize an invisible machine before it slipped beneath. The contact was locked, but only on a screen. One wrong model, one missed refresh, and it would vanish. At 2:25 a.m., the order came, intercept. The Navy and Coast Guard tightened their grid, creating a live net of sonar, heat, and encrypted positional feeds. Each platform became a sensor node. The Hamilton cutter anchored the pattern, for fast boats swept ahead as feelers, and an MH-60R helicopter orbited high, relaying infrared and radar streams into a single fused map. That digital picture was alive, adaptive, shifting every few seconds to compensate for current and noise. The sub's carbon skin scattered sonar pings, its electric motor ran without the oily breath of diesel, and lithium stacks kept it nearly silent. Operators ditched the old chase playbook. Instead, they ran predictive models, estimating drift, power loss, and trajectory from gaps in signal. It was like hunting a shadow by watching the ripples it left in a reflection instead of the body itself. When the intercept boats closed within a mile, the trap snapped. 2 escort vessels, cartel-protected and running dark, opened fire. Muzzle flashes tore through fog, streaks of tracer arced across waves. Their coordination exposed an encrypted control network linking ship, escorts, and submarine through short-burst radio pulses. The U.S. formation answered with precision. Sensor fusion turned chaos into clarity, thermal overlays painted heat signatures through smoke, allowing instant friend-foe separation. The Seahawk's Ju-21 heavy machine gun lit the line, covering the boarding teams as the cutter advanced. Moments later, the sub lurched. Internal heat from its lithium array spiked, crippled by damage and forced overdraw. As hull pressure equalized, it rolled, revealing nearly $400 million in narcotics. But the real treasure wasn't sealed in packages. Inside its encrypted drives lay route data confirming a fleet of sister vessels already operational, a sign that this was only one arm of a rising underwater cartel navy gearing for something far larger than smuggling. Even the best stealth is temporary. It buys moments, not safety. Every shadow on the ocean eventually leaves a trace, heat, noise, reflection, or drift, and when data stacks deep enough, invisibility fails. That night proved it. Layered sensors exposed what advanced coatings tried to hide, turning silence into coordinates. As Commander Rachel Decker said, this isn't smuggling anymore. It's an arms race underwater. For every vessel stopped, another waits in assembly, faster and quieter than before. The new battle line isn't drawn on a map,